15 tips which will cover most of the tips that you will learn in any full day's presentation skills training program. Do you want to give killer presentation every time from now on? In this video, I'm going to cover almost all the tips that you will learn in any full day's presentation skills training program. Mind-blowing, isn't it? If you are new to this channel, my name is Lucky Daftwar. I have trained thousands of professionals on public speaking, presentation skills, train the trainer, and many other topics. In this video, I'm going to cover these 15 tips and I have divided them into 3 groups. So the first part is creating effectively. Second part, presenting effectively. And third, avoiding major pitfalls. So I have covered everything from creating content, presenting effectively, and the major pitfalls that most people fail because of those pitfalls. That is what also I'm going to cover. So let's dive in. The first thing, let's dive into content creation, creating effectively. So what comes to your mind when you have to create a content for your speech or presentation or training program? Where would you start from? What will be the first thing that you would do? Probably you'll think you will just start jotting down all the points that you have, collect all your information. Is it? Hold on. The first thing that you have to do is analyze your audience. The most important thing. I always say that if you analyze your audience, more than 50% of your work is done towards an effective presentation. So, analyzing your audience is very important. I have talked about this in other videos also. Again, I'm saying, analyze your audience well. Analyze their background, their experience. What do they need? You might be having a whole lot of knowledge, but what is the need of your audience? Analyze that. Very important. Analyze your audience well. Once you have done that, then you move to the second part, which is collecting your information that you will be sharing. So now it is time to collect all that you will be sharing, your experiences, your knowledge, maybe from other sources, whatever you can share, put them together. You can use blank sheet, jot down points, or use Excel sheet, or you can use mind maps. There are various tools and techniques. If you want to know more about the tools and techniques and methodologies of putting things together and creating content effectively, there is a detailed training that I have, a course. You can check the description. There is the link mentioned. You can check that and you will be able to get a detailed understanding of how to create content, how to present effectively, and all these aspects. Alright, so in a nutshell, when you sit down to create content, analyze your audience, and then collect your information, put things together, that is the second thing. Then comes the third thing. What is that? Structuring your content. That is the third. Again, this is something which is also one of the pitfalls. I have seen many people failing because they do not structure their content well. You have to make your audience understand what you are going to say. You have to create the content in a manner that it is in a proper flow for your audience. They should understand your content well, right? So structuring your content is very important. You have to structure it keeping in mind your audience. How would they understand? Structure it according to that. And in a nutshell, the basic structure that you have to follow is, it should have an introduction, it should have the major part, and finally it should have a conclusion. So introduction, quickly introduce, tell them what you're going to tell in your presentation. Then comes the major part, the major portion wherein all your content will go, the body of your presentation. And finally, do not forget to conclude. You can conclude by summarizing whatever you have said, or you can summarize, and you can also give some action items, call to action, or just action items. So conclusion is very important. Your audience should understand now this is the time wherein the presentation is going to end and you have given the conclusion. That is something that you have to take care of. Fourth thing, now you have the content ready, now you have the structure ready. What comes next? You will be creating your slides, your aids, your tools that you will be using in order to present, right? So for that, keep in mind the fourth point, your presentation slides should be visually effective, visually appealing. Your slides or whichever thing that you would use, it should be good to the eyes, it should be appealing. Your audience should feel engaged. Don't overload your slides with too much of information and all. Use graphics, nice graphics, pictures, and keep minimal on the slide. You must have seen Steve Jobs' presentation. If not, go and check some presentations of Steve Jobs. You will see that the entire slide is just an image and a few words. So visually effective, appealing slides and your tools should be there. That is the fourth point. Then comes the fifth point. What do you think? We have covered everything, content, structure, slides, and all that. What is missing? Real world connection. Do not forget that your presentation should be linked to the real world, to your experiences, to the experiences of your audience. You should share case studies, your examples, or it should connect to your life. It should connect to the life of your audience. That is the basic thing. So real world connection. That was the fifth point. So that covers everything about creating effectively. Now, presenting effectively. What is the first thing? What do you think? Confidence. Confident body language. You should look confident, you should sound confident, present confidently. Stand straight, use hand gestures, facial expressions. These are the things that are important in order to have confident speaking style. Now there is a complete detailed video. I have created a detailed video on how to feel and look and be more confident on your presentation day. What you should do right from the morning till the time you are there in front of your audience. The link you'll find here. How to be more confident and speak more confidently. That was the first thing. Now, second thing. What if I would have told this entire statement, all of these points in this manner? What went wrong here? Something went wrong? I was missing vocal variety. So you have to have vocal variety. At times increase your pitch, at times decrease. Increase your volume to emphasize on something, or decrease your volume when you have to share something important or you have to surprise your audience. Your vocal variety, your modulation of your voice, that is something which is important. Now coming to the third point, start with a bang. You need to capture your audience's attention right from the beginning. How would you do that? By sharing something startling fact or something very interesting, or ask question or share story, something you should use which can capture your audience's attention. So start with a bang, but your job doesn't end there, not just the starting. And that brings us to the fourth point, keep your audience engaged throughout your presentation. Again, there are various techniques with which you can keep your audience engaged throughout your presentation. Ask questions, keep asking questions, engage them in some activity, tell them to raise hands, and such things you can do. Keep them engaged. That is what is important. Next, you are doing all of these things. What about questions? So handling queries well. That is the fifth point. You will get different types of people in your audience. So try to be mindful of that when you are answering to queries. Another thing, try to anticipate questions beforehand. Anticipate questions and be ready with your answers. Bring your answers, think about your answers beforehand. And if you do not know the answer, it's okay. It's okay to tell them that you do not know and you will come back later. Honesty is something which is important. You are a human being and you may not know everything. Try to answer as effectively as you can, as far as possible, but if you do not know, it's okay. And in order to answer effectively, you have to listen effectively. So listen to the question well and then answer in a crisp, clear manner. Be precise. Don't keep beating around the bush if you do not know the answer, or even if you know the answer, don't keep on revolving around certain things again and again. So be precise, clear and crisp. So those were the points about presenting effectively. Creating content, we have covered that. Presenting effectively, we have covered that. Now what are the major pitfalls? What leads to failure? What do you think? For the first point, what do you think is the major aspect? Why do people fail? Share your thoughts in the comment box. According to me, what I have seen and what I have experienced, lack of practice. Failing to practice, that is the major reason. Lack of practice. Well, I understand. Practice is a little boring, but you have to overcome the boredom of practicing. You have to overcome that and you have to practice. You have to rehearse. Rehearse in front of your friends, your family members, colleagues. If no one is there, use your tools. Use your mobile phone. Record yourself. Listen to your recordings. Look at yourself and try to improve. So practice and rehearsal is very important. Now coming to the second point. I talked about the slides and the tools that you will be using for presentation. The second point, the second aspect where people fail is because they do not use their aids effectively. So use your aids effectively. That is very important. You are the hero of your presentation, not your aids, not your slides. Don't make your slides the hero and you become the helper to the slides. Don't put everything on the slide. You should keep minimal on the slide and you should have a lot to share from your own thoughts, your experiences, your own mind. So that is something which is important. Use your aids effectively. Your aids are your aids. You are not an aid to the slides, right? So use them effectively. You be the hero. Don't let your slides and other aids be the hero of your presentation. Coming to the third point, honesty and integrity. I talked about honesty in the other section about answering the queries, but I am again covering this in common pitfalls because honesty and integrity is another aspect where I've seen people failing. Be honest in your presentation. If you have shared something from some other person's content, then share the source. Be honest. It's okay. It's okay to take data and use some other content, but if you have to share the source of that content. You don't have to have everything from your own mind. It's okay to share from other sources as well, but be honest. Be honest and respect your audience. Integrity is important. Respect the background of your audience, their ethnicity, the difference in the audience's experiences and all. Respect them. These are the things that are important and you have to be mindful of these things. Coming to the next point, which is the fourth point. These days we come across several opportunities wherein we have to present on a virtual platform. So virtual setup, you need to be aware of the virtual surroundings. Be accustomed to the tools and technologies that you will be using. Be accustomed to the various apps. If you are using Zoom or any other app, get accustomed to the app. Try to use the various features of the app like polls, chats, and everything. Virtual presentation, be mindful of being accustomed to it, and also be mindful of the virtual scenario. How would you engage your audience in a virtual setup? Try to think about those aspects when you are there on a virtual platform. So that was the fourth point. Coming to the fifth and the last one, but not the least, it is very important. Once again, one of the most important points. Always seek feedback and try to improve the next time. Take guidance, take feedback from others, try to understand where you are lacking. Don't take feedback on your ego. It's okay. You have to improve. So don't take it on your ego. Whatever feedback you get, try to implement those in the next presentation and improve. So if you want to practice on a platform, a virtual platform, if you want to have a kind of group wherein you can speak, practice, get feedback and improve, then you can join a speaking club that I run. The link for the club is mentioned in the description below. And if you want to learn further, if you want to get in-depth understanding of all these points and more, then you can check out the detailed training that I have created on public speaking. The link is mentioned in the description once again. I'm sure you must have liked this video and you must have found this extremely helpful. Share this video with others and help them as well. And finally, don't forget to like and subscribe to this video just in case you have not subscribed yet.